Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, it's a green and gold look. It is pretty on par for what I always do for Thanksgiving, but this is my Thanksgiving look. Yes, the lashes are huge. Yes, the lips are a little overlined, and I'm okay with it. Today we're also going to be featuring one of the spoiler palettes for the base Boxycharm box for December. So if you want to see this in action and see how we got this look right here, make sure to keep on watching, and please don't forget to subscribe because I do upload 3 times a week, and that is the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. So if you want to see this Robin Hood palette in action, stay tuned. So I'm going to start with complexion. I'm going to take my Oil and Pore Control Mattifier from Murad, which is officially a staple. Like, I don't think I like the way my makeup wears as well when I don't have this on, but I have been layering it lately. So I start by taking this, and I will spread this over the entire face. I don't need the Oil and Pore Control piece on my entire face. However, because of the SPF, I do take it everywhere. Sun care is skincare, and skincare is self-care. So obviously we want to make sure that our skin is nice and protected. Then I take the Oil and Shine Control Primer from Smashbox, and I concentrate that in the T-zone itself. And I'll just kind of spread this where I get really oily, which is really just side of the nose, bridge of the nose, forehead. So it is Thanksgiving. Well, I mean, not right this second, but this is the look I will have on Thanksgiving, I think. So I'm going to be taking the L'Oreal Fresh Wear, and I'm taking that on a brush, and I'm going with 2 heavy pumps. And I'm going to spread that around the whole face. We are looking for holiday. We are looking for drama. So obviously you guys know I like a full glam moment, especially when I'm doing something for a holiday. So I will be going full coverage and really quite dramatic. Well, kind of dramatic anyway. So the way I like to do this foundation is the same way I like to do most foundations. And the way that is I will do a thin layer of it applied with the brush, and then I jump into a beauty blender, and I will just press everything in, finesse the product around, and really make sure that it is pressed into the skin and that it looks like one smooth layer everywhere. Now this does look a little light on camera, but in person it is actually a perfect match to my neck. I would love to know why the camera's picking it up a little lighter. Actually, I know why. My ring light setting was on a little too high. Okay, so we turned down the ring light, and we're going to blend this out. So I'm just going to continue to work this into the skin. The coverage is nice. The color is right. As it dries down, it is going to, I'm not going to say oxidize, but it is going to kind of pink up a little bit. I'm going to be grabbing the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Magic Star Concealer because we don't want our under eyes to exist. And I am going to grab my Huda Beauty powder. This is in the shade Cupcake. And I'm going to get that ready right here and grab my powder brushes. I know it's a lot, but I do use 4 powder brushes for different things. And I don't use all 4 of them every time I do my makeup, but on a day like today, where we're going in for like holiday glam and we want perfection, I take the time to use all 4 brushes. And then once we make sure we have no creases, I'm going to start with a little bit of that powder and just make sure that I set down the under eye. And most importantly, the giant crease in my forehead that always creases. Then I switch to brush number 2, which this is a Sephora Collection in Hakuhodo Brush. It is the flat wedge brush. And what I'll do is I will just take that, and working from the center of the face, I will just move the powder outwards. What I love about this brush, first off, it's like the softest brush in the history of ever. But second, I can press it into the skin to really build that powder up, or I can kind of paint with it, and it just kind of sets everything down beautifully. And it doesn't cause there to be too much powder. Then going into a different Sephora Hakuhodo brush, which these were on sale, so I picked them up. I'm just going to move that powder around the skin a little bit more. Make sure that there is nothing bunching up, because we do want to make sure that everything is a flawless, even canvas. I know it's extra and I know it's a lot, but then I grab brush number 4. This is the Morphe E2, and I take my Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Airbrush Finishing Powder. This is in the shade 2, and I will just press this in. This powder does have silk fibers in it, which causes a blurring and smoothing effect. So when it calls itself the Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powder, it is 100% airbrushed and flawless and beautiful. And once everything's pressed in, I go back into that other brush and just kind of pull all that powder around to make sure that we don't have a ton of extra powder on the skin. I don't normally go this obnoxiously full coverage, but I love how perfected the skin looks. It just looks healthy, but it doesn't look flat or matte. Like you see how on the apples of the cheeks, there's a little bit of glow and a little bit of shine, and that is from the powder having a little bit of luminosity. It's going to control oil and it's going to stay matte, but it is not going to look super flat or cakey. It's going to sit nicely on the skin. Because it's a holiday, we're going in with my favorites. So I'm going to grab my Marc Jacobs Tantastic Bronzer, warm up the skin. Lately, you guys know I have been skipping the contour, but again, it's a holiday. So I'm going to grab my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Unlocked Palette, and I'm going to take that shade right here with a tiny bit of the bronzer shade, and I'm just going to press that just in the hollows of the face, just to make sure we have a really sculpted cheek, because we want to look perfected. I mean, who doesn't always, but it's like, it's Thanksgiving. If there wasn't one day to go obnoxiously overboard and no one can judge you, it's Thanksgiving. I say that now, but watch, for my Christmas video, I'm going to do the exact same thing. Go just as extra, just as over the top, and say the exact same way, no one can judge you. For blush, dipping into an oldie but goodie, the Laura Geller Baked Blush in Tropic Hues. We're just going to add a little bit of pink and warmth to the apples of the cheeks. This also adds just the tiniest bit of luminosity. It's just pretty. And for today, I am going to focus that really just over the apple. I'm not going to really take it into the temples like I normally do. And with whatever's left on the brush, we're just going to tiny bit on the nose, tiny bit on the chin. Beautiful. Going to grab my Smashbox Photo Finish Setting Spray to lock it in. And I say this a lot, but then I do like to take my sponge and really just press that setting spray into the face. Make sure that we have locked everything in so it lasts all day. So I haven't been glowing the way I used to, and honestly, it's been upsetting me. So today we're going to disco ball. I'm going to start with the Artist Couture Diamond Luxe Luminizer in the shade Hot Damn. And I'm going to load up on that right on the cheekbone, and I'm going to take that around the brow bone as well. Oh yeah. Because I have noticed lately, somebody commented and they're like, remember when you used to use 9 highlighters? And I was like, yeah, why did I stop? So we're going to be a blinding, glowy disco ball today. And I can't wait. Beautiful. I am going to take that blush brush and just make sure that we blend the highlight into the cheek to start, just to soften it and make sure it blends into the skin. Then I'm going to grab that same highlighting brush, and I'm going to grab, this was, where is it? There we go. This is the Artist Couture Diamond Glow Powder in Summer Haze. This is going to be almost a gold shade with a little bit of a pink hue. I'm going to hit that right on the highest point of the cheek. Oh yeah. Just to add a tiny bit more drama. Because today we want to be a disco ball. And when I look forward and I smile and you see that like Tin Man on the cheeks, that's perfect. And I know it looks like a lot because again, we don't have anything on the eyes or lips yet. I'm going to grab, I think I'm going to actually do my brows today. Normally I skip it and I kind of gloss over it. Today I'm not going to. So I'm going to grab the Hourglass Arch Brow. This is in the shade Ash. And I'm going to use this just to shape the brow. When I use a pencil like this, I don't want to draw in a brow. All I really want to do is line the top, line the bottom, and extend the tail where necessary. That's it. Line the top, line the bottom. On this side, I don't really extend the tail. That's something I really just do over here. Then grabbing my Kush Brow Gel in the shade Dutch. Just comb that through. Easiest brow ever. All the Kush does is fill it in, set it down, and perfect. I'm all about an easy brow. Nice and simple. That's my brow. All right, I did do a super bold look with my brushes last night, so I'm going to use some clean ones. But the moment you've all been waiting for, we're going to be jumping into the Storybook Cosmetics Fairy Tales Robin Hood palette. This will be coming in the December Boxycharm box. So I figured today would be the perfect day to try it out. I'm going to grab the Makeup Shack T50, and I'm going to take the shade Quiver up here, which is a mustardy transition shade. And I'm just going to blend that around the crease. Now that we have that on, I'm going to take Nottingham, which is it's almost like a taupe shade. And I'm actually taking that right on the tip of the brush. I'm going to go right into the socket, and I'm just going to use that for some definition. Jumping into the Morphe M456, I'm going to load up on the shade Forest right here, which is a fairly dark brown. And I'm going to pat that on the outer portion of the eye and trace about, I'm going to say about halfway through the crease, just to add that definition. I am going in with a light hand. There was a palette I did a review on a couple weeks ago, and I did it just like this, and this was the technique I used, and somebody commented, and they were like, that palette sucks, it has no pigment. And I know I've said this before, but you don't see how hard I'm tapping into the pan. I am barely touching in. I like to build up color. I don't like to swirl my brush in the pan for a minute and then just get so much pigment. I want to slowly build it up. So before you come for the palette and complain that this is not enough pigment and you don't like it, you don't see how I'm using it. I don't want to get super preachy because it's not everybody, but I don't know. It bothers me, especially when the palette is beautiful and the colors build up nicely, and I'm kind of being the one to, like, there's not a lot on the brush. I'm literally going like this twice and then tapping and then adding color. If I wanted to, like, load it up on pigment and press it up, like, see how much more intense it would get now that I ruined it? Then dipping back into Nottingham. Just going to blend that out. Imagine that. Brett's doing a neutral eye with a green lower lash line. Groundbreaking. I'm going to take a little bit more Quiver, and I'm going to add a little bit more warmth to the crease, just to blend all of that together. Yeah, see how much that brings everything together on this eye? Much better. Grabbing a packer brush, I'm going to go in with the shade Maid Marian, which is the foiled gold in the palette. And I am going to be taking it wet with a little bit of Fix Plus, just so that we can really build up that intensity quickly. I'm going to get that right on the lid. I'm going to take a little bit more of that color dry and press it where the Fix Plus is still a little wet, just to set it down. And then just blend out the crease a tiny bit. Taking a tiny bit more of Forest, the dark brown, I'm just going to pat that on the outer portion of the eye and blend it into the gold, just to make it a little smokier. You know we like to be smoky. Beautiful. So I'm going to throw a green liner in my waterline. I'm going to take Mildew from Urban Decay, and I'm going to throw lashes and mascara on my lashes, and I'll be right back. All right, mascara is on, and so is green liner. I'm actually going to skip the lashes today because I like how intense the shadow is looking without it being like overwhelmed by a lash. I'm going to take the shade Merry Men, which is a green, and I'm going to set down that liner. Oh, that's a really beautiful pop of green. Oh yeah, I love the way that's popping with the gold. Then I'm going to take a little bit of Forest, the brown, and I'm just going to connect that smoky outer V to the lower lash line. And I am actually, besides getting powder in my eye, I am slightly winging that shape out a tiny bit. Yeah, just like that. And then grabbing my blending brush, I'm going to softly diffuse that line. So it's not going to actually be a wing, but it is just going to pull out that cat eye effect. I'm going to take that brush from before and really just blend those into each other. Make sure there is no harsh line. So the only shade we didn't use right here was the shade Robin Hood, which is a frosty green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that on a detailing brush, and I'm actually going to run that in the physical waterline. And see how from one eye to the next, adding that little bit of a more shimmer shade and adding that shine into the waterline just makes it pop a little bit more. Since we are going a little more glam, I'm going to grab my number 13 Starlit Powder from Makeup Forever. And I'm going to take this powder. I need like so little of it. I basically just work out of the cap. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the inner corner. So we keep the fallout minimum and keep everything locked in. I'm going to take Fix Plus and really just set down the eye area. Now obviously, yes, it does kind of get on the whole face. However, I really like to focus that over the eyes just to kind of melt everything in. Beautiful. So now that that's done, I am going to throw on a lip. Kind of want to stay a little more in the nude family today, but I want it to be long wearing. And we are pretty like golden green on the eyes, so I think a nice peachy nude would be good. I'm going to grab from last month's Boxycharm Nude Mood from Dose of Colors, because we're going to do a peachy nude lip. And I am going to grab a liner. This is Spice from MAC. And I'm just going to add a little bit of like a darker brown for definition. And since we're a little overlined and a little more overlined than I wanted, I am going to skip the gloss and not make it even more dramatic. But I feel like it needs a lash, so I'm going to pop that on and I'll be right back. So I completely understand that these lashes are absolutely massive and take up my entire eyeball, but honestly, they are already on, so this is what we have. I am going to grab a touch more of those two shades mixed together, because since the lashes are so dramatic, I am going to kind of blow out the eyeshadow a little bit more so it's a little more dramatic as well. And lastly, against my better judgment, I'm going to grab a lip gloss. This is from House Labs. It is Entranced. And I'm going to apply that on the center of the bottom lip, as always with a lip brush, because otherwise you ruin your gloss. And that is the finished look. So honestly, this is pretty on point for what I will have on Thanksgiving. I will probably be a little bit less overlined on the lips. You guys know sometimes the lip liner just gets away from me, and next thing you know, giant ass lips. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. And of course, happy holidays. Bye.